One. Blessings everyone, this is Yanni, the only luckologist, and I hope you guys can hear me. So we are back from Georgia. Today is the 8th of August. So really quickly before I start this video, this is not a luck video. It's actually a testimonial video because today's one of my very important anniversaries, and I'm going to discuss what it's about. So I have tons of videos that we did while we were in Georgia that I still have to post. So after today, you guys are going to see more videos, and it's going to be videos while we were in Georgia and videos that are here. Right now, we are not working, so I just want to get that out of the way, all right? We are resting, all right? So after this video, just stay tuned for more videos, okay? So with that being said, today is the 8th of August. I think that would be like 13 years ago in '06 on this day. I had something called a microvascular decompression. It's a type of brain surgery. And I usually write, on this day, I usually write a blog on what I was diagnosed with since I was like 21, something called Trignimal neuralgia. All right, so I'm going to talk about what it is. This is my way of bringing awareness to it because a lot of people don't know what the sickness or the disease is, and as I said, most of the times I usually write a blog about it. So this is my first time doing a video. So I was 20, around 2021, give or take. I might even say 19. When I first felt this pain on the side of my face, and it's called the suicide disease. In fact, if you were to look up trigeminal neuralgia, it's called tic douloureux. It's a French word, and it means effing painful. That's what it, so it is so painful that people who are suffering from it, they, back in historic times, through history, they ended up killing themselves because there's no escaping that pain, right? It is one of the most painful diseases known to man, right? And the weird thing is that mostly, back in the day, mostly the elderly had it, old people, and I had it since I was between the age of 19 to 20 or 21 tops. And the first time I felt it, so let me just give you a little bit of anatomy and physiology. So right in your temple, you have something called the temporal nerve, right? It's right there. You have it on both sides. And neuralgia only tackles half of your face. So the word neuralgia means, anytime you hear neuro, you mean nerve, and algia mean pain, right? So neuralgia mean nerve pain, right? So it's on the temporal side, it hits the temporal nerve, I should say. And the best way to describe it, and you guys look it up so you can see, and for all the people who are watching this, as I said, this is not a look video, I know you guys can relate to this, who deals with TN, they call it TN, could understand what I'm saying. So it's like a hand, right? It's literally feels like, if you're a horror movie fan like me, it feels like this guy, the guy with the scissors hands, Freddy Krueger. That's the best way to explain it, that he's ripping only part of your face. You feel like you're two people. This, whatever half you have it on, is painful, and the other half belongs to somebody else. So the first time I felt this thing, I was like around 19, 20 years old, and you think you have a toothache, and you think you have a migraine. But picture a toothache and a migraine had made love and create a monster. That's the best way to describe this thing. It's a toothache and a migraine on steroids. It's like Hulk version of a toothache and a migraine combined. And the first time I went to the doctor with it, I really thought I had a toothache. Like, what the heck is this? And I was in Trinidad back then. I didn't even dream of coming up to America. And the doctor said, you have neuralgia. And I remember my mother had it when we were kids. I was like really young, 6, 7 years old. And they say for some people it's hereditary. My sisters didn't get it. I got it. And my mother only had it one time. And back then in Trinidad, there's a plant we have called, based on whichever Caribbean island you're from, it goes by different names. We have a plant called Wonder of the World, and it really is what it is. It's a plant, and the leaf does magical stuff. So all people would take this leaf and put it on the face, and they would say, oh, it will take out all the coldness, and I did all of that. So it will come and it will go away. It will come and it will go away. So let's fast forward now. I came to America, and it came. And it came back for whatever reason. It's triggered by stress. It is triggered by coldness, cold weather, Winter is our diabolical enemy. You cannot eat anything. For me, I can't eat anything cold. Back then I loved ice cream. I wasn't even vegan back then. I would have to heat ice cream up in a microwave before I take it, before I eat it. Salads, even if it's room temperature, you got to warm it up before you eat it. So ice, cold drinks, it's you can't mess with that. And in '06, it just kept getting worse. It would go away, and each time it came back, sometimes it would lay dormant for like 2 years, and each time it came back, it came worse. And in '06, it was the worst it had ever been. I was actually in medical school at the time when it came back. And this is where the testimony comes. That was just the introduction. I was still married to my ex-husband, and in fact, we were roommates at the time, even after we separated. I have an amazing ex-husband. I'm blessed where, we are still in each other's lives. He has an amazing, beautiful wife. Jimmy, his wife, and I were all good friends still. But back then, we were still legally married, and he was all that I had at the time dealing with this thing. I had to stop going to school, and I couldn't understand where this pain came from. Finally decided to get an appointment with a neurologist. And when they did the MRI, neuralgia is basically blood vessels resting on nerves. So it triggers all your pain senses, right? And when they first saw what's in my head, they realized that it was one of the worst blood vessels resting on nerves they've seen in a long time. In fact, my doctor retired. I had my surgery done in New York Presbyterian in '06. So before I got to the surgery that summer, right, around July the 4th, actually it was exactly that day, I came to committing suicide. Now I don't have depression or every now and then I'll be down, but to say like clinically depressed like that, I don't take medication, I don't drink, I don't smoke or anything like that. But the pain was so severe, I was ready to commit suicide that day. I remember it was 4th of July. My ex-husband was actually leaving to go to a cookout on that day. And I don't know what told him to stay home, because I actually wanted him to go, because I had to figure out how am I going to end my life. And this is where the testimony begins. How am I going to end my life? Because this pain is too much. Back then, we didn't have WhatsApp. How now all we Caribbean people or people who were born in other countries have WhatsApp where we could just communicate. It's so much easier. Back then, it was phone cards, and half the time those phone cards didn't even work. So I wasn't talking to my mother much. My sisters all in different states. It was just me, myself, and I. And sorry, the car is passing with loud music. And he ended up staying. He said, you know what, I'm going to go to the cookout later. I'm going to stay back. So now I'm like bawling that day, that holiday weekend. I'm hearing kids outside playing or whatever, but me just stepping outside and just the slightest bit of breeze, just cool air, just touch my face is a wrap. Finally, he rushed me to the ER. And when he took me to the ER, I remember that night, I was screaming. When they took me, they couldn't understand what was wrong. You see, the thing is, there's certain medical conditions where it's not physical, right? It's just, you have to take the person's word for it. So just picture me going into the ER, and the doctor's looking at him, the triage nurse looking at him like, what did you do to her? And I can't speak. It was so bad that 4th of July weekend, or 4th of July day, I think it could have been a weekend, I don't know, can't remember, that I had, like somebody who had a stroke, I had drool coming out my mouth because I couldn't close my mouth anymore. I couldn't, I'm just screaming in pain. And luckily my ex-husband knew what it was, so he told them what it is. And they ended up giving me this thing in my butt, a shot in my butt, like a pain, a pain reliever, I should say, a painkiller. It was in, they needed this pain go away fast. And I think it was something with C-Cibralex or something like that, which for some reason I must have been allergic to it because it made it worse. They were literally considering tying me down to the bed because I was screaming, telling them, kill me, kill me. And my ex-husband was like, he started crying, like, they will commit you. That's how much pain I was in. Finally, they got me sedated and calm, and there was this nurse, she came back. I was 27 at the time. And this nurse came back. She said I needed to come and see her. And I'm like, why? Because now I could talk. She said, when you came in, she said, I had to look. I think I was 28, not 27. She said, I had to look at your paper to see your date. She said, you look like you were 60 years old. The pain aged me. I couldn't see it. She was telling me that. She said, because we couldn't believe this was a 28-year-old person. On August the 8th, on this day, I was scheduled for surgery. And it was one of the most loneliest time of my life. And my mom was in Trinidad at the time. My sisters, my ex-husband, he had just gotten a job the day before. So he had to take me there, drop me off, and come back, because you can't take days off for your new job. And I remember he's sitting there crying because he couldn't be with me. The only person who was with that I was able to get was my sister's aunt. We have different fathers, so her aunt is not my aunt, and she ended up staying with me, to meeting me at the hospital. But most of the waiting for the procedure, I was alone. And if you've ever had surgery, it was my first surgery ever. If you ever had surgery, it's a very scary thing, because it's a chemically induced sleep they're going to give you. You don't dream. The last thing you're going to remember is people with masks over you, these lights that they come down, and they're telling you to count, and you're praying you wake up. By the time I went to surgery, and I forgot to mention this, they had me on pain management drugs. I was on Percocet, fentanyl. If you know what fentanyl is, it's a patch, transdermal, meaning it hits your system fast. You got to put it in line with your heart. You can't put it above or lower. And it's a little small square patch. And I'm going to come back to the surgery. I forgot to mention this part. I had lipoderm patches. That's something you put on your face. I was looking like a mummy. I couldn't brush my teeth with normal toothbrushes, so they give me sponge toothbrushes. That's more for old people or people who have a stroke. It looked like a lollipop with a sponge on top. I couldn't eat properly. You see how I smile now? There was no smiling. There was none of that. If people who have it, they end up losing their marriages. They lose friends because nobody understands this pain, right? So finally, I got a doctor, Dr. Brisman. He actually just retired. I got the letter like 2 months ago, and his son took over now. And Dr. Brisman is one of the top doctors in the entire country. In fact, it was my last month of insurance, so that was God itself. He was the top doctor in the country that deals with Trignimal neuralgia. And when they put me under, I'm gone. And I woke up. And the thing is, when you have surgery, they tell you all the things that could happen. And I remember my mom, about a couple of weeks before I had the surgery, back then I was still Christian, and my mother would say, whatever they tell you, you rebuke that, So they're listing out all the things that could happen. I could go blind, deafness, of course, death. And I'm like, nope, that's not, mommy always said, that's not your portion. That's not my portion. Nope, I rebuke that. I'm not taking that. And when I woke up, I woke up 2 o'clock in the morning. I went in 2 o'clock and I woke, no, not 2 o'clock, sorry. I went in 2 p.m. and I remember looking at the time, or I should say they started me at 2 p.m. and I woke up 1 a.m. So that's 11 hours, right? The scars, I actually show clients the scar when I'm testifying to them. Some of you clients, if you're watching this, you've seen the scar. It runs behind my thing. And when I woke up, they called me by my name and they say, you know what today is? They say, all I remember, they're saying lights flashing all over. It's like in the movies, it's really like that. Do you know your name? Blurt out my name. Do you know your date of birth? Blurt it out. Could you hear us? Yes. And, you're groggy. And I remember they saying your surgery lasted 11 hours. Do you know what today is? And I remember if it was 11 hours, so I'm already doing my math. So that's how fast I snap back, And I said it has to be the 9th because So the thing based on where they're performing your surgery, you're stuck in that position because once you go under anesthesia, you can't move like a normal sleep. As I said, it's a chemically induced sleep. So you don't dream or anything. So I'm in this position like this, laying down for 11 hours. When I woke up, I didn't even know there was we call it stiff neck or sore neck. Woo! I could not. I actually thought it was something like some sort of action-packed movie with like Bruce Willis, and somebody came behind me and cracked my neck, like broke it. Like it's my neck. I couldn't move. And again, I'm alone. I didn't even know my mother can reach me because she's all the way in Trinidad. We don't have the technology we have then back then, today back then. And you know, you lay there and you're in the ICU and you're seeing other beds where burn victims. This one, there's different people. Just you're hearing all these machines. And I remember I wanted to go to the bathroom. I keep asking for water. The nurse that I had was horrible. It was horrible. He was so mean to me that my blood pressure started going up. And I remember telling him, you know, I said, why are you doing this? I said, I don't need to be, I'm not doing this on purpose, you know, if this is not your job. Through all that pain, I'm like telling him that, you know. And my neck is still killing me. I end up getting a fever, still alone during all of this. And the worst part is you can't get up because I had an 11-hour brain surgery. So I have to have, I'm 28 years old and they had to come and clean me. I was actually, and not to be graphic, this is all part of it. I was actually on my period. And I'm laying there like, damn, they had to come and clean me. And if you know anything about Caribbean women, just back when period, that's a personal thing. We're about to be cleanliness. And they had to come and clean me and change the pad and ask me if I take tampons and I want to use the bathroom. And I'm crying. They're like, Miss Ingram, use the bathroom. It's fine. And there were these two ladies that passed by my bed. It was like about 1 the afternoon. Still, I can't talk to my mom. My sisters can't reach me. I'm like alone there. And these two Caribbean ladies passed, and I heard them. And they say, you okay? Because they just saw me laying there sad with my neck stiff, these pillows, these things on my leg to avoid, what you call it, blood clots. I have high beats. And I told them what happened with the nurse. And once I heard their accents, I was like, good, y'all are Caribbean. And they came and they cleaned me up. And I swear to this day, it was two angels. I wish I had taken their name. And every day on this day, this is the first time I'm doing a video, so forgive me if I'm emotional. I think back of all that happened and how I got snatched back from death. So I had a craniectomy. The surgery I had is called, like as I said earlier, it's called a microvascular decompression. I had a craniectomy. I have a craniectomy because they had to do cranioplasty. So I actually have a piece in my skull. I make a joke with my sister, and I could shift it. Anytime she or my mother is doing my hair, even though I'm not tender-headed, I always have a fear that's going to pull off. So there's actually a piece of plastic in my skull. And I used to pray for death, like pray for it. You know, we see people and we see, you know, you see who they are. My mother always tell me, don't jealous anyone. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know their struggle. You don't know what they've been through. I don't know why this time I wanted to do a video. Like as I said, I've had this surgery since 2006 and I always do a blog about it. But this time people on YouTube who are not on Facebook never heard about this story from me, you know. And I actually had to tell it while we were in Georgia a couple of weeks ago, and this is another testimony, and I'm doing this on her behalf. She gave me permission. One of my first clients when I went to Georgia, I'll call her Jay, one of my first clients, before she was married, before I was married, I was still single at the time. Usually I color her hair, and she always books on a Friday. And the Friday before, this happened 2 weeks ago, so just go with me on the story. You're going to see why the two is going to be connected. And the day before she's supposed to come, she's never canceled. In fact, I have two types of clients. I have clients and then I have platinum clients. Those are the people who never canceled, never been late, so they get first dips on everything. They get the platinum treatment, right, in booking me. And she said, Yanni, I'm not going to be able to color my hair. I found out I have breast surgery. Not breast surgery, breast cancer. I was actually in the bathroom when I read that text. I was on the toilet, literally. And I read it. I was like, what the fuck? I have known Jay excuse me, it was at the time just she and her boyfriend, when they were boyfriend and girlfriend. I knew this girl when she was doing double master's program. I didn't even know you could get 2 masters at the same time. She graduated from 2. She had 2 graduations. I'm like, there's nerd and then there's her, you know. She's an engineer. In fact, Jimmy and I went to the hospital to do her hair, and a few days later she delivered her twins. That's how long I've known this girl. She was, the day she came, the next day she came, I said, you still want to keep your appointment? She said yes. And the next day she came, we were lucky, she was lucky to overlap with 2 other clients who were there as long as her, who've been with me before there was even Jimmy. And while I'm doing her hair, I told her, I said, you want my mom to pray for you? Now, though I'm not Christian and I'm not religious, I still believe in the power of prayer, whether it comes from a Catholic, Muslim, Buddhist. I believe prayer, the spoken word, I believe in it. I believe in a creator. And I called my mother in Trinidad. Thank God now we have WhatsApp. So fast forward, now we have WhatsApp. And when my mother started praying for Jay, and she just broke down and cried. Jimmy is watching another client, and the other client who came, who they all are like seniors, not in age, meaning in how long they've known me. And by the time she got off the phone, we all crying in a room, and we ended up forming a prayer circle around her. And I didn't ask who believed in what, and the only common denominator in that room was me. They all know me, but no one knew each other. And I told her the story about the surgery, me having the brain thing, what I just told before. And I told all the ladies in the room. There was all women. Jimmy was the only man in that room. And I said, you know, we black women, we are built for this. We're built to fight. If one person watched this video, I know it might be a little lengthy. I'm not timing it. You guys know I don't time videos, right? If it's in my heart, I'll put it out there. We are built, women, period. We are built to fight. When I saw Jay, and you know, when she started crying, and you could see it, you know, you could see where, sad to say, she's actually going to have a mastectomy, you know. And I told her the same things that my mother told me when I had brain surgery. She said, you're not going to claim sickness. Whoever is watching this video now, if you're dealing with a medical condition and your doctor is telling you one thing, now I'm saying don't believe them, but dig deep down inside and pull out that fighter. Everything they tell you you have, you cannot claim it. You cannot. My mother always said the power of life and death is in the tongue. It is. This is one testimony. You guys are seeing a different side of me. I could testify some stuff, and eventually I'm going to tell more about my life, because you guys only know me as Yanni talking about locks. There's way more. But when I look back at my life, and I realize now that wasn't my time. My time wasn't supposed to be by my own hands. It was for moments like this, or moments when clients sat in this chair in Georgia. And that's what I tell a lot of people when they come see me. I said, when my clients come, we don't talk about here. I talk a lot on videos. We talk about life stuff. There's clients who have told us things, and I always tell them, if I did not have the test, I couldn't testify. My client Jay, who is fighting, she is going to win it. She is going to be a survivor of breast cancer. She's going to be added to people like us, like me, who could testify. And the best way I say it is, like, when you want a degree or you're going for a job, most of the times they put you through a test. They're not just going to hand it to you. Okay, here's your master's, or here's your PhD. You got to go through a test. That is life. We are chosen for certain situations. And you know, you'll hear me say, my mother always said, yes, my mother is still alive and well, thank God. But my mother always say, you know, when we lay down in a bed of affliction or something happened to us, the first thing we say, because we're human still, the first thing we say is, why me? Like, why this happening to me? And she always say, why not you? Why not you? What make you so great that shit can't happen to you? The question is, what are you going to do with it? Whoever is watching this video, whatever you're going through right now, tomorrow when you wake up, that means you have another day to fight. That's what life is about. It's about fighting. That's why I have this personality now. This personality I have now did not exist years ago. It did not. I was a shrinking violet. You could tell me whatever and do whatever, but your greatest teacher is experience. And there are times where, just so you guys know, there's no cure for neuralgia. There's none. There's different procedures they can use. There's gamma knife. You hear about gamma radiation through Hulk if you're a really sci-fi fan and you pay attention. Right, it's actually a real thing. It's called, they use gamma knife and they cut the nerve to see if they could, ease the pain. There's that, there's acupuncture, the which is called MVD, the microvascular decompression, which is the surgery I have. That's the most extreme one, right? And it's supposed to last only 10 years and then it expires. That's a real thing, it does. I had my surgery in 2006. There are times where it still reminds me, like, I'm still here, and that is one of my greatest fears in the world, neuralgia coming back. I think I will, and I'm terrified of spiders. I will go into a hole with spiders before that thing comes back, before I deal with that. If I had a choice, neuralgia or lay in a hole with spiders and tarantulas, give me the hole with the spiders, and I am definitely terrified of spiders. That's how bad this thing is. But when I was going through it, I didn't know there was a fighter in me. I didn't even realize it while I was fighting. It's now that I'm older, I'm in my 40s now, and I could look back, and that's why this day means the world to me. Because if I didn't fight that day, when they put me under, and I did make a conscious of it, like I said, the last thing I said to myself is, you're waking up. You're not waking up blind. You're not waking up deaf. You're not waking up with paralysis on one side of your face. None of that. You're waking up. The other testimony is, within days, those medication that I mentioned, and they're called pain management drugs. That's the people who are dealing with like sickle cell, anything where there's no real cure for it. So they always have to put refills in it. You go to pain management clinics. I was in those things, those clinics, those drugs. Give it all up cold turkey. Completely cold turkey. In fact, my fentanyl on the street is a lot of money. My fentanyl ended up expiring, my book is all these pain management. They all expired because I didn't need it anymore. So every day I'm pain free, and there are times where it still acts up. That's why I'm very particular in different clients. I can't be around stressful people. I can't be around a stressful environment. I can't have stress in my life, period. That is my trigger. And it could be the littlest bit of stress. It's going to start, I can feel it ticking. Like it's a time bomb, just waiting for the littlest thing to explode. You don't know you have a fighter in you until you're put in a war. I would say this, and this is coming from me, and also I'm speaking on behalf of my client Jay. We all have that fighter in us. She's communicating with my mother every day. They're like BFFs now. The other client hit me up now. They have her number, and we all, and please, if you're hearing this, please hold her up in prayer. She has, the last thing I told her when I did her hair, I said, I used to work in radiation and oncology at a veteran hospital. That's before I decided to start my own business. So I know what chemo and radiation does to the body. I know what it does. I've seen it firsthand. The cancer is not what makes your hair fall out. It's the chemo and radiation, because it's killing cells. But it's so stupid. It doesn't just kill cancer cells. It kills all cells. So skin cells, nail cells, hair cells, all of that. And I said, you're going to fight through this. You are the girl that did 2 masters, bought a house, got married, had twin girls, premature both, did all of that in a 2-year span. You are about some ass kickery. That's what I told her. I say, and you're going to fight this. You are going to grow old to see your children get married, and they're going to grow old too. And we got to lift each other up. We have to use these situations we have to lift each other up when that person is down. You know, one of the things neuralgia do, and I forgot to mention that it affects your teeth badly. Like I told you, I had to use sponge toothbrushes. And you can't go to any dentist. I was terrified of dentists because one thing you have in each one of your teeth are nerves, nerve endings. And as I said, neuralgia is nerve pain. It's like a hand, and each one of these fingers is a nerve, and it stretches, and it feels like Freddy Krueger is ripping your face off. And I remember when I finally went to a dentist, and that doctor is still my dentist to this day, and he had to remove 6 molars from the back. And when I saw him, I said, one of the things that I was terrified of coming to a dentist, because when they see my teeth, they could have think I was a crackhead or whatever. And I said, no, I had neuralgia for years, and I couldn't brush my teeth like a normal person. So thank God he knew what it was. I'm one of the only patients he has to sedate, because that is stressful too. So you always have to give me nitrous and the laughing gas and Valium to knock me out. And when my teeth, like a lot of people compliment me on my smile, and I didn't used to admit it back then, I could admit it now, and I tell people, I say I had to pay for this smile because neuralgia really fucked up my teeth, because you can't brush your teeth. There's no flossing, anything hurts the nerve. And I forgot to mention that part of the testimony. So when you see I smile a lot, not because I pay buku money for the smile, but I couldn't smile before. Your nerves prevent you, the pain prevents you from smiling. So today is my anniversary, where I came back from the dead. I saw it. I was willing to walk into it. And you realize that the Creator has bigger plans for you. If you are dealing with something, so I can wrap this up, but if you are dealing with something, whether you're by yourself or you have family around you, understand, I don't care what you believe in, who you believe in. Once you believe in their higher power, even if you believe in the universe, understand this. Everything was predestined, and it happens for a reason. Every morning you wake up, you beat whatever you're fighting. You have to beat it, because you have to have a reason to live. And that's what I told my client Jay. That's what I had to tell myself. And she has children. I don't have any to this day. But I knew that I had to live. Neuralgia don't kill you. It doesn't kill you. But as I said before, the pain is so severe, you kill yourself. If you guys have time, whoever is watching this video, go on Facebook. You're going to see the neuralgia page, and reads, if it's black, white, all young, you will hear them say, please pass me a knife, a gun, something. You do not want that around us, because we'll say, fuck, I don't care. You could be Catholic, and Christians don't believe in suicide. That pain is so severe, all that stuff goes out your head. You just want to leave this planet. That's why my ex-husband would always be one of my best friends, and I only have 2 best friends. And I'm blessed with a current husband who understands that bond I have with him, because it's not that type of bond where I'm not. My ex-husband is happily married. I'm happily married. But he helped me through this. There was a time where when they first gave me fentanyl, the patch, I didn't know what it did. And that thing, this is coming from somebody who will get high off of Benadryl, because I don't drink or smoke, like as I said, so my tolerance is very low. And the first time I tried fentanyl, I was going to medical class, and I just laid on the bed, and I didn't move for until the next morning. And when he woke up, he realized I still had on my scrubs, and I was in the same position. That's what the pain management drugs do to you. It have you like you in a coma. And I remember my ex-husband lifted me out of bed, because like I said, we were roommates. So he's in one room, I'm in the other. We had our own privacy. But he lifted me out of bed, helped me up to the bathroom, helped me so I could change it. I've been through it. I've been through it. I've been through it. I've been through it. You know, I've been through it. Moments like this, I realize why I went through it. So I hope, sorry it's kind of long, I hope this story really administered to somebody who is dealing with whether you're fighting, you just got diagnosed with COVID, whether it's cancer, whether it's something painful, the other painful diseases like fibromyalgia, you name it. And I'm blessed with clients who have a lot of medical conditions too. MS and neuralgia goes hand in hand. Neuralgia and shingles goes hand in hand. You know, just dealing with anything. Shit, even abuse. You got to keep fighting. You cannot give up. I always tell my clients, giving up is an option, but don't let it be your option. Okay? And that's what I had to do. I had to keep saying that, Yanni, do not give up. When death is a beautiful thing you're looking forward to, you have to pull yourself. You have to dig up in yourself. There are two of you. There's the one that people see every day, and there's that fighter that lays dormant, and he or she sits and wait until you're ready to call he or she up, and they come up with swords blazing. That's how I see the fight in me. She will lay dormant until something happens and she is ready. I don't mean physical fight. I'm not a physical person. I'm not a violent person. I'm talking about when something happens where you have to go into that spiritual realm. And as I said, I don't care what you believe in. This is not what that is about. Go into that spiritual realm and bring up that fighter and fight back. So anytime I'm going through something, I always touch the back of my head to remind me of, you survived neuralgia and you survived 11 hours brain surgery on this day, on the 8th. If you have neuralgia, really quick, avoid caffeine. Avoid it, avoid it, avoid it. Caffeine triggers it. Nicotine, cigarette smoking, avoid stress. Diet plays a huge role. Look into taking vitamin B12. I am 90% pain free. There's always something there. There always is, 24/7, but I'm 90% pain free. Right? And every day I'm pain free is a day good, thank God. Right? Please look this up. It can be easily misdiagnosed as a toothache. It's not a toothache. Misdiagnosed as TMJ, throat, mouth, nose, right? You know what that is. TMJ, sorry. It can be misdiagnosed as a lot of things. Look into finding a neurologist that's actually going to listen to you. Be mindful of dentists you go to that is just not going to just do work on you, because the slightest trigger, they could awaken this beast. And that's what it is. It's a beast. If it had a face, if I was an artist, I will draw neuralgia, and it would be something with snarly teeth and evil eyes and with claws, if I could draw it. But I could only draw stick figures, but I can see it. And it sits right there waiting for something to happen so it could emerge. So I always have to be mindful of what kind of energy I let around me. All right. I hope this is a good testimony. Thanks for watching it. Feel free to share it. Sorry if it's a little bit long. And stay tuned for more videos. As I said, I will have a lot of videos coming up. Jimmy and I are about to go through a major change. You guys stay tuned for that. We are not doing here right now. I am going to post the dates when we start back doing locks, both in New Jersey and Georgia. Okay? But you guys are going to have some lock videos and some non-lock videos. Stay tuned. Some will be funny. Some will be full of shenanigans. Just enjoy them. All right. Be blessed, everybody. Ashe.